by V4 News, Caru News, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Now Se, Samvad Sarokkar News, Bharat Post News, Gyan, and Organ Donation India Foundation. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today is a thought leadership. Being the thought leadership series, we have to start with the thought leadership series only. Crisis moments create opportunity. Problems and crises ignite our greatest creativity and thought leadership. As thought leadership is fundamental in business today and consists primarily of finding and sharing great information in a way that attracts and retains. Thought leadership is when a leader's thoughts are being used by leaders to lead others. Thought leadership is influencing a narrative by understanding what needs to be done. Thought leadership is the expression of ideas that demonstrate. A thought leader can be recognized as an authority in a specific field and whose expertise is sought and often rewarded. That can be an expert, a historic. Many strive to become a thought leader in their respective fields. It takes dedication, patience, strategy, and education. In this series, we will be asking straight questions and today our thought leader is Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran. Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran is the former visiting professor IIM Lucknow and University of Texas at Dallas, USA. He is the founder of Dr. Saran Consultancy, California, USA. He is the director of Lal Private Limited, New Delhi. He has done his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad in 1980. He did PhD in business and entrepreneurship since 1984. He published research papers in reputed journals, international seminar proceedings, and chapters in books of readings. He started academic administration phase as dean in 1997, rising to executive director, controlling management and engineering institutes in 2007. Her Highness Governor of Karnataka nominated Dr. Saran of his distinguished academic contributions. He was visiting professor to University of Texas at Dallas from 2012 to 2019. He also visited Washington State University and President University, Indonesia, on the invitation of the Dean Faculty of Business in 2018. He innovated and implemented a unique model to double the turnover with existing infrastructure in one account business management society. He is honorary director of NCR Delhi-based high-tech B2B digital startup. He is also co-founder of OWGI Foundation, which promotes social entrepreneurship ventures. And today our topic is steps to create profit. Welcome Professor Dr. Sudhir Saran on our show, Thought Leadership Series Day. And in this, we are going to ask straight questions to you, and we would like to get straight answers from you. And our first question of mine is, what is profit?
Thank you, Mr. Goel, for inviting me to this vital thought leadership theme. And without losing more time, your first question focuses on the essence of our conversation today. What is profit? In Greek language, like in English, we have alphabets. There are alphabets. We have A, B, they have alpha, beta. One of the alphabets is pi. It is written, I'll show you, as two literally vertical lines and one horizontal line. It looks like this. Pi is equivalent of P in English. So my simplest starts with alphabet P in English and pi as a symbol of profit in Greek language. I am sure it has hardly much value for our viewers and listeners. So let me go to the second layer to answer your question. What is profit? Profit is the sum total of business acumen and entrepreneur has. It is not half. It is not 1/3. It is not 3/4. It is sum total. Excuse me for a minute.
Yes,
Hear
go
me?
ahead, please.
Under in the street, he is seeking profit. The sum total of business acumen. So profit is the end result and sum total of business acumen is the cause. So this is profit. Going to the third level, it is reward for the effort entrepreneur makes. In classical economics, which most of our viewers will know, there are 4 factors which, be it a car, be it an aeroplane, be it a computer, be it your tie, be it my spectacles. The 4 factors are land, labor, capital, and management. Many people replace management with entrepreneurship. That's fine. Because once upon a time when this theory was built, administration, management, entrepreneurship used. I hope the viewers are noticing this very carefully. Each of the 4 factors contribute to production. They expect something in return. So landlord expects the rent, labor expects wages, capital expects the interest. What does entrepreneur get? Not the employees doing the administration, not the employees doing management, not the employees doing new business development. No. The founder, the promoter, the true entrepreneur, the innovator, the one who comes. What does that individual expect? So profit is the reward to entrepreneur. So this is the third meaning of profit. And I can complete a minute just answering this question. What is profit? 3 I have already done, and if we are timing, I have nearly taken 8 minutes to do it. Profit is an equation. An accountant, a chartered accountant will certainly agree with me. The equation is revenue, profit. Now, if I am a mindless person, I'll memorize it. And what I will do is, if you give me data, I'll sum total all the revenue. Then I'll sum total from the revenue. And the number I get, I'll call it profit. Not realizing
that the minus sign makes it very slippery. If the expenses are more than the revenue, Mr. Goel, is not a positive number. It is a negative number. And therefore, profit is also when lost becomes a loss. So what is profit? It is a condition. Mark my words. Profit is a condition that revenues were more than the expenses. Otherwise, profit should be seen as loss. And the relationship is same. Revenue minus expenses. But the equal will be called either to profit or lost profit. So now you see why I said question in the straight way. Four straight ways I answered it. What is profit? And you see it is there. I have to go to, you see, I just named four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Let us ask oneself, we sold our consultancy services at Dr. Sharan, founders of startups. They paid me 3 crore rupees during the year. Who will be paid first? Who will be paid second? Which factor will be paid third? That also is a question. That is part of answering the question, what is profit? Okay. And land will be paid. Many a time in Bangalore, we pay in advance. Next month's rent, I pay this month for my office work, a space. Then the labor has to be paid. I get my pay almost at the end of the month. In America, they pay how that payment happens. Capital, if you don't pay the interest, you become the defaulter and you become non-paying, and all kind of trouble comes your way. That has to be paid. The interest expense has to be paid. And suppose crore revenue which Dr. Sharan Consultancy had got last year, I will be left with nothing. God forbid, if the rent along with wages, along with interest is more than 3 crore, the money which I had put in the business will be used to pay them. My equity will be eaten up, will be eroded. My promoter's capital will be coming down. My net worth is coming down. It is profit like equity is the residual. It is residual. If expenses leave something of the revenue, then and only then equity via profit grows. Else it is eroded. That is profit for you. At this point, because I want to tell our valued viewers, all of you think you can read a word which is spelled with capital P, capital R, capital, and feel very proud we know profit. If you did not know any of the things which I brought to your kind attention today, please don't be complacent. Please be respectful. Please realize the value of profit. Mr. Goel has not, when he asked, I'll answer that one. But you realize that profit is what is more than lifeblood of the organization. It is the pumping to different parts of the body to supply what it needs to remain alive. Profit is the cause which keeps a business alive. In its absence, it will take profit.
Thank you very much, Professor Saran, for giving, I will say, not say only straight, but very, very question. Now, my second straight question to you is salary is also profit. A person who is working, he is getting X amount of salary, putting his labor. So, is the salary can also be calculated as you have mentioned that you have to is his labor. So if we will subtract that labor vis-a-vis the salary which he has earned, so whether that will be called profit or the total amount of the salary will be called profit.
Salary is paid to employees. Salary is one specific form of compensation. And normally it is a fixed amount at a point in paid at a finite point in time. To clear the confusion, salary is an expense. So it is part of profit, but not profit. The equation I mentioned had part and balance, residual profit part. So salary is part of increasing or decreasing profit. Why I appreciate your question, expense, how can it be profit? No, Mr. Goel. I don't want to commit that mistake right now. I want to stay here. Today, you know, as in our last conversation with Dr. Lakshmi, she mentioned that we moved from pre-industrial era, village era. So mining and agriculture contributed almost all of the national income in the first era. Production industries produced all of the national income in the second era. Today, services are producing. Here, the focus is on people who are giving service in current economy. Developed country or developing country, story is same. Services contribute more. And these are the people. If our salary is used to create more revenue, in that case, that type of salary is definitely a engine of profit. So I can almost make this statement. But if the person who is being paid a salary in a way, then it is a passive vehicle if the person is annoyed with what he is paid for his hindrance to profit, dissatisfied employees will be eating up profit, destroying profit, or become a hurdle to the story of salary.
Okay, thank you, Professor Saran. My one supplementary question in this is, as you mentioned about the founders or the owner, and we have seen oftenly that they are also drawing hefty salary. So, and the profits which share. So whether at that, in that hand, in that founder's hand, it will be termed the profit which you're getting, and then it will be termed as a profit.
Very, very serious question. Serious because a business requires honesty. It requires equity. In other words, it requires values of the highest character. It requires virtues. Founders, promoters are the people who take upon themselves to give birth to a business. You and I will expect. They are the guardians of the values, and they are the advocates of the values. In modern day, you will see that this principle many times is more violated than respected. There are loss-making businesses where variable component is large. How is that possible? Without breaking the cardinal values of a healthy business, without visuals and known principles of ethics for organizations. So what you are citing is clearly a matter which needs serious thinking and attempting that. Remember that the single person, like happens in Indian movies, Amitabh Bachchan becomes the king and father. Amitabh plays one role and another role in the same movie. Rajkumar plays one role and the other in the same movie. Double role. There was a movie with multiple roles. This individual is playing two roles, getting two compensations, what you call salary. In the other one, he is getting equity. All right. In either or both roles, he can be honest. And if his other kind of a person, his system and regulatory system fails, checks and balances are not there, then be prepared that in neither of the roles he'll be honest, taking more equity than deserved at the cost of a honest, sincere worker and an honest, sincere investor, and many times as well. So, for that reason, I will add a fifth layer to our first question: what is profit? Profit is the because after my discussion here, say the level of according to the morality of profit.
Okay.
That
Thank
is,
you,
yeah.
Professor Saran, for giving answer. Although still, I am just, if you can just say in 2 words, is the dividend, it will be termed as a profit or not? Only
It is expense.
for the individual also in his own, even
Yes.
if he said.
Compensation is a
Thank you, Professor Saran. Now, my next question to you: do we need a special way to look at business to maximize profit?
need a special way to look at business. And what I mean is, you see, I know the house in which I live very well. If I have to go to the kitchen to open, I do not need elaborate thinking to do this one. I can do it automatically. Same thing many times is done in the case of running a business. By looking at it as if we already know it, autopilot way. That is the wrong way according to me. The special way which I am advocating is re-examine all the things. We come to different steps, we'll talk at length of it. Each of the different steps are actually putting this principle in practice. Look in a special way and trying to conserve it and maximize it. That is why the special way looking is important, and we'll talk more of it. And I emphasize that every entrepreneur business, do not make the mistake of taking it for granted and flying it on autopilot. Always consciously look at it. Always consciously look at it. It's worth it. The reward will be.
Okay. Professor Stan, thank you very much. Now, next question to you is, you are saying that a special way to look at the business, but for that we require our experts in creating profit.
Yes, there are people, and I must also add here that actually there are different experts for different parts. For example, there are productive.
No, you're muted.
Is there, and they have trained people to look for.
Muted again. Yeah.
If 20 shirts can be produced with 30 yards of cloth, there are productivity experts who will say that not only those many shirts, you can make handkerchiefs or scarves for the pocket, or usable products and less scrap. So these are the experts who add to profit because the expenses are converted. This is how it is done. That is the answer to the question. There are experts.
So, according to you, Professor Saran, in any business or an organization, entrepreneurs organization, one should appoint some consultants who will be or the promoter have that sufficient knowledge, or employ those types of staff in so that they can have the expert. It's a founder's vision in which he has founded or started a business. So he knows the nitty-gritty of that business more defined is that the experts are only consultant, not the founders or their own persons. Professor Sir.
There are two parts to your questions. I'll come to both parts. First and foremost, after World War II, Japan was destroyed. At that point in time, the cloth which came from Japan used to be very poor quality. Decron and then what happened to Japan? They wanted to rebuild their economy and invited two profitability consultants. They did not call them profitability consultants, but they wanted to improve the revenue. They wanted to reduce the cost. So the rest is history. In less than 2 decades, Japan became known as a leading economy in Asia for sure, and rest of the world as well. Their automobiles were seized and defeated native American automobile companies. Tall achievement. So that is the contribution of. Can founder not know all about profit? Well, it is very tough call. In today's world, one man cannot be repository of all the profit knowledge. No matter who that person is, build a founder team, including those people who are a specialist of the steps which I have in mind. Operations expert, marketing expert, cross-selling expert, software expert, time and motion SD expert. I can go on the list. Each of them are worth having in the organization, not necessarily as a full-time partner or employee, but certainly on a part-time, need-based basis. The founders can do if they truly want to build the organization to a strength level which is unassailable. The seventh measure of profit here, Mr. Goel, is it is insurance against destructive competition. If there is constructive competition, you are fine.
Mute.
The value of your products, then you also are indirectly benefiting. No, not in that case. But there is destructive one. You are going for a company Infosys business. I am going for a company Infosys business. If I am more profitable, then my profits will give me the insurance against competition. There is no true guarantee against competition. Profit is the gold standard insurance against competition for a company. There is no way your competitors can kill you if you are the most profitable company in the industry, which at Dr. Sharan Consulting, California, we are basing our advisory. From day one, we started looking at the business model, looking at the team members, looking at your partners, so that we can chip together the circuit into more profit than you are making, given the limitations applicable on all others.
Okay, thank you,
That is the
Professor
power
Saran.
of profit.
Now, my next question to you is, do small or medium-sized businesses also need to learn how to create profit?
Yes, they do need to. Size is not a consideration, because in a small businesses, a scarcity of experts is by
Mute. Some problem.
Some bad days are there.
Okay, please go ahead.
There is one person who wants to speak to me. I don't know. Okay. So that interrupts our conversation. Are very much in urgent need of profit experts, because you see, every large organization at its birth was, then it had a rapid growth phase, which was managed well, and it reached medium size. Then growth continued, it became large size. It's not caring for profit, logically it won't become medium size. And a medium sized company is not managing for profit if it not becomes large size. Whether you want to remain a small or the question. The first question is, you won't survive even as a small organization if you do not get the help of those who can make you profitable. Then your low end of the profit table in a small applies to medium size organization, and same applies to large size. If there are 10, draw a line at 5 and destined to close business sooner or later, because all the customers will move to those who are profitable, because profit it is like a detergent. Whatever dirty business practices, extravagant business practices we will have, when profit comes, so you will good become better and bad become worse. That equation sets in.
Okay, thank you, Professor Saran. Would you like to take a break and call that fellow who is calling and disturbing every now and then and tell him not to call and disturb? See, again, he has called.
One guy, if I call, he'll be on my head.
Okay, fine.
So,
I think we should understand when somebody is not picking up the call, that is a soft skill one should learn. Yeah. Now, the next question to you is, what are the steps to profit?
They command by themselves, and multiple steps are there. Let me be again very clear, otherwise you'll accuse me of not being straight. There are steps. You ask me what are the steps. So if I list them, tell you streamline the operations, it does not mean much, but it is one of the steps. To say here is, depending upon the viewer's sophistication, I can name a requirement for profit as one step, or I'll have to break it. This is beautiful point. Allow me a minute to elaborate it. Your height, your size of the leg determine time in one go. If I have a ladder from ground floor to first floor being the profit, and ground floor being the here, no? Ground floor is revenue and expenses. From here, I want to use a ladder to reach first floor, which is in the ladder should be there. If it is a staircase, how many steps or stairs should be there? If it is a baby which can hardly lift the feet and climb 7 inches, 8 inches, 9 inches in one go. Is a grown-up person who can climb 2 feet in one go. The rungs will be set at that length. Please remember, need to take a smallest steps to reach profit. Medium size organization, because many more things will fit in that space. This aspect should be very clear. Today is a bad day, Mr. Goel. Never mind. We will take care of this one when I end the conversation.
Somebody is doing intentionally to sabotage the program, flow of the program, because our program is such a thought-provoking program. If it's better, Dr. San, just tell him not to disturb.
These are different people. Okay. Spam
okay.
They're trying to sell me a financial product today. I don't know why.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So this is very important.
Just block the number if it's the one number only.
I put these are 4 numbers which are coming. I put it on silent. Still it is coming. Anyway,
yeah.
Let us bear it. Now, you see what? If you want to increase your revenue, a small business needs to take one is when you come to buy a tie, the shopkeeper sells you the tie. Then, once you are satisfied that you found the tie you are looking for, you look a very sophisticated person, you must be appearing in public. Will you like to see a couple of tie pins and cufflinks which are matching? Step in increasing your profit. It is having a long tail. If my salesperson is a family member, or that person must have bonding with the organization, must have a feeling in the heart to make it. Effect, and this is the beauty, the real who are helping you. These are the steps. Now you can understand how difficult it is for me to list of steps within each step. But there definitely are steps to creating profit.
Professor San, just now you mentioned about the culture. Might be a business culture organization.
Culture plays a vital role, not only important role. And the reason is business is made of people who are full of emotions and values. which guide those emotions. So you are very right. If the founders created the profit culture or for profit culture, they have won the battle. But if they are still struggling, then God save them. Because the first thing a founder needs to do is instill the respect for profit and teach human beings to tame their ego in a way that it approves all decisions which are friendly to profit and bar every decision which is going to hurt the profit. Simple example is there. When you are sitting and hiring your marketing manager, you found that that fellow is very respectful to you all, and he knows a lot about industry. He has very good connections with distributors. You will be tempted to hire that person. But if you have trained yourself to build the culture for profit, you will ask him, what will your budget be and what amount of sales will you generate? This question will come only when you are modest, you have tamed your ego. You are asking people not on the basis of likes and dislikes, but solely on the basis of what will the contribution be from this new hire. The objectivity. That is the culture. Once that comes in, then it flows downwards, trickle downwards. But to install it is the important thing. And so answer is yes, culture is most important.
Now you mentioned about the installing the culture of the profit. It means the training. Do you think that there is one of the step, very, very important step to create profit is a proper training to the human resource or to the employees to create profit? What you say about this, Professor sir?
Yes, training is very important, and the experts must be very few by definition. It is not an easy skill to first possess and then to transfer. The trainers may themselves can bring a good culture in their own training organization, but to the client organization, they may not be able to see the details which are necessary for installing it. So that's one difficulty. The second one is, what is the founder doing? If the founder is not living, eating, breathing, sleeping the values, then any amount of culture building training will become futile. Because hypocrisy, contradictions are one which never build a gold standard culture. Sincerity, diligence are the ones which do that. So before you hire an expensive culture consultant, my advice is first move yourself to being the kind of person who will be seen as credible advocate of profit culture. You cannot be lavishly spending on luxuries for yourself, traveling by business class, staying in 7-star hotels. If you haven't yet broken even, you are living on somebody else's money. You cannot do that and ask people to do otherwise. That is my point here. So both sides are important. Your own actions and values and the expertise transfer in training. for the culture, profit culture.
My next question to you is soft skills also a step to create profit?
Answer is yes. Mainly because in our last conversation, as we said, we have moved to the service age. Service is nothing but empathy for the individuals concerned. If I am not willing to be pained by your pain, then when I am pained, you will not have any feelings. If the good marks for this son, and if the Byju's is busy selling more and more of tuition, where the student is good, his friends are bad, then you see there is a soft skill required. The soft skill will tell Byju's, don't do it. Am I clear to you on this point? Soft skills are the filter, because one of the soft skills is emotional intelligence. And the emotional intelligence is built on the platform of self and awareness of the other person with which I have a relationship. So when I have the awareness, I know here it is not fooling the customer, selling more and more of the products that I have. It is more a counseling service from Byju's that is required, for which they may not be able to bill, but win the respect of that parent, that their counseling service did the pain resolution for me. You understand where I'm heading? That the culture of profit, soft skills will be leveraged. Soft skills will leverage whether I should only be money-minded because I'm pursuing profit in the short run, or I should have the soft skill, the maturity to look at the long-term picture. Win first the gratitude of this customer by counseling, which is not a costly service that we have. But once he is grateful, I'll get a chance. Understanding leads to profits in the long run. Doing it mindlessly kills the hen which lays golden eggs. So that is where the importance of soft skill is. Without soft skill, I will not appreciate this point. No businessman will be able to appreciate this point. And this is where I say, the profit is such a game where lots of the valuable knowledge and insight is strewn all around us. We see it, but we don't pick it because we don't see. Hopefully, our thought leadership today will highlight and underscore these things, and people will become conscious.
You mentioned about how the profitability is created, and you mentioned the soft skill culture. But one thing which generally in the business circle is common is the marketing. And they say if you are a good marketing person, you can even earn profit from by selling the sand. But if you are a bad marketing person, even if gold will be given to you, you cannot generate any profit out of it. Do you agree with this?
No, no, no. If you are a good marketing person, you will be able to provide only, literally say, 1/5 of what profit demands. If profit demands 5 things, which it does, marketing is only one. Now, let's be very careful and give a little bit more flesh on this important issue. If I'm very good at selling and you came to my shop, I can act like that famous character in a joke which was circulating on the WhatsApp. The joke goes something like this, Mr. Goel. A Sardarji left a job in India, went to Canada. His relatives called him. He got a job in a mall. He was given a one-day training. Next day, he was on his own. At the end of the day, his boss asked him, "Since after 1 day of training, people like you make at least 11, 12 sales per day. What happened? What was the value of the sale?" The supervisor asked. So he says, $2 million. Boss jumped up. He says, one sale of $2 million? What happened? Tell me in detail. And you know the story. He says, one man came and said, "I have a headache. Can you give me a painkiller?" I gave him the painkiller. But I said, "Are you under lots of stress? Don't you get recreation?" He says, "Yeah, I'm under." He said, "Then why don't you buy